Good evening, friends. Meeting again with the new session. Yesterday, we have finished the first part of the practical part of the organ of medicine. When we have started this practical part of organ of medicine right from aphorism number 71, Dr. Samuel Hahnemann puts three important questions, out of which the first was related with the investigation of the diseases and understanding the diseases related from aphorism number 70 to 204, where he has defined the classification of diseases, the case taking, the mode of case taking in acutes as well as mode of case taking in chronics. In order to take a chronic case, the qualities of homeopathic physician, all the details, every minute detail he has tried to explain over there in those specific aphorisms. Now we have to start with the second part of this, the practical part of organ of medicine, which deals with the investigation of the medicines used for the purpose of treating the patients. And that is nothing but the understanding the knowledge of diseases with the drug proving. So all the details regarding the drug proving, he tried to explain in those aphorisms, right from aphorism number 105 to 145. So this becomes the second part, and that's why he starts this aphorism. If you open the 104 aphorism, 105 aphorism, he starts with the sentence, the second point. Second point is related with the question which has been put, second question which has been put in the aphorism number 71. The answer starts right from here. So first is right from 72 to 104, second is from 105 to 145, and third is from 146 onwards to the 291. So we'll start with this session, and this is again an interesting part because many things which we generally overlook in the drug proving are mentioned by Hahnemann over there. So we'll start with the aphorism number 105. The second point of business of true physician relates to the acquiring a knowledge of instruments intended for cure for the natural diseases, investigating the pathogenetic powers of medicine, in order, when called on to cure, to be able to select from among them one, from the list of whose symptoms an artificial disease may be constructed, as similar as possible to totality of the principal symptoms of the natural disease sought to be cured. So second important point which he starts is nothing but the knowledge of instruments. Here the word instruments is used for the purpose of medicines, because we have to treat ultimately with the help of medicines. We have to utilize our medicines, and those we have to choose on the basis of their pathogenetic powers. So what do you mean by pathogenetic symptoms? Pathogenetic symptoms means the symptoms which are produced after giving a medicine to a healthy individual, that those symptoms are called as pathogenetic. So they are developed after giving the medicine. That's why they are called to be pathogenetic symptoms. So here he wants to explain that unless and until you know the pathogenetic symptoms, it is not possible to find it out or know the remedy. In order to understand remedy, we must know its pathogenetic power. For example, we know that allium cepa is the remedy prepared from the onion, and we know it has a pathogenetic power because just when we crush the onion, or when we try to cut the onion, immediately it affects even in a crude form, it reflects directly on you. It starts producing a nasal discharge, it starts producing the eye discharge, lacrimation, and those are nothing but the pathogenetic powers of that specific medicine. So this medicine, even in crude form, it works because it is so strong in its action, and that's why it never needs to be proved in very high potency. You just prove it in 6 potency, you just prove it in 30 potency, you just prove it in 200 potency, and you can find it out its effects on the human body. The reactions which are instantaneously produced after taking the dose are taken into consideration, and all those reactions are called as pathogenetic powers. And those are proved on healthy human beings of both sexes, of different ages, at a different times, at a different places, with different potencies. And because of which we know each and every detail about the remedy. We know the subjective symptoms, at the same time the objective symptoms. Both variety of symptoms we are able to understand. And this is unique thing in the homeopathy. This is unique, where we know what it will going to produce. So this is what is called as investigation of the pathogenetic powers of the medicine. But how to do that? The Hahnemann prepared a typical proforma. He was scientific oriented. So how to prepare medicine in the specific way, in the scientific way, where the mathematical calculations are necessary. It is not just making a tea. It is just making a medicine with a mathematical process. And that's why when we define the doctrine of drug dynamization, we define the definition. It is a mathematico-mechanical process by which or through which the inherent properties, medicinal properties of the drug substance, crude drug substance, are aroused into activity. So it is a mathematico-mechanical process. And he has prepared it very scientifically. He has used totally a mathematics over there. The first scale which have been developed by Hahnemann was the decimal. It was a way back when he started preparing the homeopathic medicine. Thereafter, the Herin prepared used a different scale, and he invented the centesimal scale. But medicines which used to be in centesimal scale were rather stronger in action. Hahnemann was many a times had got the homeopathic aggravation when he used the medicines in those scales. And that's why, to conclude, at the end, in the 6th edition, he introduced one more scale of preparation of medicine, which is called to be a 50 millisimal or LM scale. So this is how he has developed the medicine, and we have ample varieties of medicines prepared from different scales, and we used to use depending on the symptom similarity. We used to match the patient symptomatology, the totality of the symptoms, with the antitype totality of the whatever medicine which is there, and just giving that medicine in the potentest form cures the natural disease. But for that purpose, it is necessary to understand each and every pathogenetic power which is present in that medicine. And this we have to learn. How to do drug proving, how to go ahead scientifically with the drug proving. All the details he tried to explain over there in further aphorisms. And he starts with the 106 with this method of drug proving. So we'll read 106. The whole pathogenetic effects of several medicines must be known. So what he says, whole pathogenetic effects of the several medicines must be known. If you want to be a homeopath, you must know each and every medicine, how it used to affect the human life. That is to say, all the morbid symptoms and alterations in the state of health, that each of them is specifically capable of developing in a healthy individual, must first have been observed. So those one must know prior to be utilizing. One must know that onion has the medicinal properties, that it used to produce its effects in the form of lacrimation, a severe acrid coryza with bland lacrimation, aggravated as soon as patient enters into the warm room, ameliorated when he goes into the open air. Yes, these are the effects which are being proved when these are known, because these are proved on healthy human beings. And that's why we can prescribe LMCPA to such types of patients. There is one more feature which is there, hay fever in every August, very typical feature of the LMCPA. We know that LMCPA is the remedy because it has been proved on healthy human beings, and we know that symptom prior to prescribing. There is one more important symptom in LMCPA is there, that there is a neuralgia of the stump after amputation. Yes, this is the symptom, neuralgia of Very important feature. It is we generally forget the allium cepa as a neurological remedy. We generally look towards the allium cepa only as a upper respiratory tract remedy. It's not so. I have treated one of the anesthetists who had operated for the total hip replacement and severely suffered from the neuralgia. So I have applied the knowledge. I have applied this sentence from the LMCPA because it was amputation. It is nothing but just an amputation. Total hip replacement is an amputation. He was not settled even after carbamazepine. He was with painkillers and he was just crying like a boy. It was so painful for him. And when I observed him, when I was called to his home and I saw him, he was just weeping because of severe neuralgia. I have used LMCPA in 1-impotency in repeated doses, and within 2 days, he was absolutely normal. So before prescribing a remedy, we know what it used to produce. And this is possible only because we know prior to it. And it is possible only because of the homeopathic drug proving, the aspect of homeopathy which is used over there. And this he tried to explain over there in this aphorism, that all the morbid symptoms and alterations in the health, that each of them is specifically capable of developing in a healthy individual, must first have been observed as far as possible before we can hope to be able to find among them and to select suitable homeopathic remedies for the most of natural diseases. So we must know the many remedies. We must know many remedies proved on healthy human beings. So we must know the allium cepa, we must know the Euphrasia, we must know the Sabadilla, we must know the Wythia, we must know the Ticreum marambarum. Ample remedies. There are more than 3,000 remedies which are present over there in homeopathy. And those are necessary because we have to match the totality of the patient with this totality, which is already known at the subjective level as well as objective level. But we give more importance to the subjective level because we can understand many things from it, because of which it is possible to apply it in a perfect manner. And for that purpose, drug proving is a very important entity one must understand. So Hahnemann have given nearly about the 40 aphorisms in order to teach what is drug proving. So we have started with 104, 105, 106. Here he explains importance of drug proving, that unless and until we know each and every remedy by heart at both levels, the subjective and objective, it is not possible to prescribe a remedy for the patient. So we must know many remedies, and every remedy has a different action because of which it is specific. So belladonna, if you give the belladonna to the patient or to the healthy human being for the proving, it will show reaction only like a belladonna. It will not act as an aconite stimulus. It will not act as a sulfur stimulus. So every stimulus is a different. And that's why the reactions of the human being are very specific to the drug which has been given for the purpose of proving. And we must know that knowledge, this which is necessary in order to prescribe for the patient. So 106, where he defines what is exactly meant by the drug proving in homeopathy and importance of it in homeopathy. Then he turns toward the 107. If in order to ascertain this, ascertain means to know this. If in order to ascertain this, medicines be given to the sick person only, even though they be administered single and alone, then little and or nothing precise is seen of their true effects, as those peculiar alterations of the health to be expected from the medicine are mixed up with the symptoms of the disease and can seldom be distinctly observed. So what he explains over there, he gives the first don't of drug proving. What he says, if you give a medicine for the purpose of proving to the sick individual, you will never get a detailed idea. You will never going to find it out exactly which are the symptoms of the medicines are there, which are the symptoms which are reflected because of medicine. because there will be a mixed picture, the original disease and the disease reflected because of the medicine which has been given. And that's why the sick individuals are not the best persons for the proving. So the first don't of case taking, which he mentioned in the 107 aphorism, one should not give, one should not give a homeopathic remedy for the purpose of proving to the sick individual. It should be given only and only to the healthy individuals. So because we never get a clear picture of the remedy without that. So just write over there in that aphorism, should not be given to the sick individual for the proving. Earlier aphorism, what is exactly mean by the drug proving? So just at the side, if you write, make a habit. So at the time of exam, you don't have to read each and every sentence. You just have to recollect. Yes, 105. He wants to explain about drug proving. 106, 106. He wants to explain what is exactly drug proving and importance of it on healthy human beings. 107. It should not be given to the sick individual. So it will be an immediate revision for the exam going students. So 107 is related with that. And today we'll finish one more, and that will be the last for today. 108. There is therefore no other possible way in which the peculiar effects of medicine on health of individuals can be accurately ascertained. There is no sure, no more natural ways of accomplishing this object than to administer several medicines experimentally in moderate doses to healthy persons in order to ascertain what changes, symptoms, and signs of their influence each individually produce on the health of the body and of the mind. That is to say, what disease elements they are able and tend to produce, since it, as has been demonstrated from aphorism number 24 to 27, all the curative powers of medicines lies in this power they possess of changing the state of man's health, and is revealed by the observation of the latter. Revealed means to prakat karne, एखादी गोष्ट to reveal, to express. Now he explains what to do then. If you don't have to prove it on deceased individual or sick individual, then you have to prove it on healthy individual. Second important thing, so first do is that you have to utilize it on healthy human being. Second important thing is that only a single medicine at a time. That is second point, which he mentioned. Because when you give a single medicine, we know how exactly the person reacts. So if you give, for example, allium cepa to the 10 provers, you're not going to get the whole totality of allium cepa from one prover. Everyone will show some part of reaction against allium cepa stimulus. So someone will show the neurological symptom. Someone will show the typical nasal symptoms, or many of them show the nasal symptoms. Very few will show the typical modalities of LMCPA. Very few will going to show you the typical hay fever aspect of the LMCPA. Very few will show that there is a colic aggravated by the cucumber. That is a typical feature of the LMCPA. Very few provers, but you can get from one of the provers. So the same remedy should be given in different potencies on the different individuals with the in the potentized form in order to get the subjective data from the patient. This subjective data is very important because subjective is individualistic. Objective is not individualistic. Objective, you have many things where with many peoples you can get the objective, which never individualize the patient. So in the LEMCPA, the subjective features are very important. The acrid coryza with bland lacrimation, with a severe sneezing, with a running nose, the watering of the nose, dropping from the tip of the nose, associated with nasal corrosion, associated with the severe corrosion of the upper lips. It is so much burning, aggravated as soon as patient enters inside the warm room, amelioration when patient goes into the open air, aggravated in damp rainy weather. This is typical of a LMCPA. These features are of LMCPA. And this we can get only because we have proved it on many people. Very few of them show they have started getting colic after taking the LMCPA. Very few of them shows that yes, after taking cucumber, I have started getting colic. That is the feature of LMCPA. So few features, they are not common. They will not going to get in each and every prover. Very few will show a panaritia, which is there in LMCPA, the red streaks and phlegmonous inflammation around the nail bed. That is another feature of LMCPA. But very few of them shows that. But it is one of the important symptom of LMCPA which you have. So this is how a remedy is proved. It is not proved by giving it only to a single prover. We never get whole data from you. So, for example, we have hundreds of symptoms of LMCPA, out of which the 10 might be shown by many people. Another 15 might have been shown by any idiosyncratic prover. In this way, we have calculated them and then we have put it under the name of LMCPA as a materia medica, in the materia medica. So when patient comes to us, he never shows 100 symptoms of the LMCPA. He also shows the few of them because he is susceptible only to that much of aspect. So every patient will not going to give the whole picture of the materia medica picture of the remedy. You get only few of them. You have to match those few with the totality of the or with the medicine. And if it is matching at many levels, then that remedy is the patient's remedy. So this is the approach and with which you have to go ahead. And this aspect is called as a homeopathic drug proving. The examples which he mentions over there in the footnote, there is a footnote number 91 to this paragraph. That footnote will read, but there are many words which are used in German. Those will not going to read. We're going to read only the English aspect, whatever is given, and we'll find what he wants to explain over there exactly. Footnote number 91. Not one single physician, as far as I know, during the previous 2,500 years, thought of this so natural, so absolutely necessary, and only genuine mode of testing medicines for their pure and peculiar effects in deranging the health of man, in order to learn what morbid state each medicine is capable of curing, except the great and immortal Albrecht von Haller. Albrecht von Haller was the first person who proved the drugs on human being, or who was knowing the drug proving method on healthy human being. Albert von Haller. Those who are exam going, this is the MCQ, and those who are giving PG exams, for them also this question is a MCQ. First person who was knowing the human proving before Hahnemann, Albrecht von Haller. He alone, besides myself, saw the necessity of this. Write the preface to the Pharmacopoeia Helvet, Brazil, where he has written, and that is in German, forget about that, and directly start with last sentence of this paragraph. But no one, not a single physician, attended to or followed up this invaluable hint. So this Albrecht Haller, who has already mentioned the importance of human proving. Hahnemann says 2,500 in years, no one have tried to utilize this hint given by Albrecht Haller. He was the first one, Hahnemann was the first one to experiment what Haller had said. So Haller was the first person who knows the human proving, the importance of human proving, and Hahnemann was the first one who experimented what Haller had said. And the method which he has utilized first in 1790, when he was reading the Cullen's Materia Medica, and when he read those two sentences, the cinchona bark has the capacity to produce the malaria-like symptoms. And on second page, the cinchona is the remedy which is used for the malaria. And two contradictory symptoms. When he experimented on himself, then he found the truth in both of them, and then he reached with his induction to the law of similars. So this was the experimentation done by Hahnemann, and then he started experimenting in the similar manner with many medicinal plants, and ultimately in 1796 he reached to the law of similars. So this was experimentation done by Hahnemann on the healthy human beings, starting from him, then on his relatives, then on his friends and many provers, and then he developed a new method which has been explained by Albrecht Haller. And this is what he wants to explain. He was the first person who was knowing the human proving, and Hahnemann was the first prover, first person who started experimenting on this path, and he experimented 99 drugs throughout his life. So that was another MCQ. How many drugs Hahnemann have proved during his life? He has proved 99 homeopathic drugs. So I think we'll stop over there. From aphorism number 105, we have finished up to the aphorism number 108. So it is related with the introductory part of the drug proving. One important hint which he has mentioned: the drug should not be proved on sick individual. It should be proved on healthy human being in a different potencies, in the potentized form. So we'll stop over here, and tomorrow we'll start with aphorism number 109. This part will run very fast because this part is only for the purpose of knowledge. Actually, we never require, unless and until those who coach for the MD in pharmacy, they require this part very much. So otherwise, we get the ready-made medicines from the pharmacies. So there is no need. We never prepare the medicine at our clinic, or we never prove it at our clinical level. And that's why just having a knowledge of those is very important. For that purpose, we'll go through all aphorisms, but little bit fast. We'll finish 3-4 aphorism every time, and then we'll reach to the 146 onwards, which are most essential for our practice. So thank you being there, everyone who are there in this session. Thank you, sir. You are always there. And one more important hint: tomorrow is the Thursday, and I will going to take a session open for all students, all everyone. Do join at 9 o'clock tomorrow with the new session on the homeopathic materia medica, a boric suspect. One more remedy I will going to share in tomorrow's session. So ask everyone to join that session tomorrow at 9 o'clock on the Divine School of Homeopathy, but passwords will be the same of this meeting only. The Organon meeting passwords will be there for that meeting. It will be free and open to everyone. We'll meet tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Before that, there will be a regular session of Organon will be there at 6 o'clock. So are there any questions? If there are, we have a chat. We have 5 minutes. Otherwise, we'll conclude. Tomorrow, 6 o'clock, regular Organon session, and 9 o'clock, the Divine School of Homeopathy session. Any query? Yes, for both sessions, same password, regular password of Organon. And ask your every friend to join that session, because it will be a unique one. Every time we'll have a different remedy, and those generally rare remedies in our practice, and how to utilize them, those are very important. So ask your friends to join. It might be a quite common for few practitioners, but it is quite new for many new practitioners. So we'll meet tomorrow first at 6 o'clock and then at 9 o'clock. Thank you. No fixed potency, Kirti. There, it depends. You have to judge the susceptibility first. You have to find it out how patient is presenting. If patient is presenting Very acute, still 30 to 100 are better. When you have neurological symptoms to treat, always go for high. Then you require 1 mg. Because this is the remedy which works instantaneously even in crude form. That's why it never requires to go for high potency. Okay. Thank you very much. We'll meet tomorrow.